Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scotty D, and your host, the head of creative Eddie Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. We talking sports. Hey, y'all, we're back again. It's another episode of your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. I go by the name of Eddie Cool, aka the HOC up in here. I'm happy that my ring light finally came on time. I'm just grateful. I'll just say that. I'm just grateful. Gratitude is the attitude, and your attitude affects your altitude and all that fun stuff. But enough of my incoherent rambling. I've tried to do this by myself, but it ain't no fun. Not only do I have one, but I also have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? Fellas, I can say this with the utmost passion, conviction, drive, and all the whole 9 yards. We're recording on Monday, but we publish a post on Tuesday, but I want to make sure that this is understood. Today is Monday as we're recording. Yesterday, I participated in this year's first fantasy football draft. We're here. It's here. Football is around the corner. This is the last Sports Bros podcast recording before there's actual college football. Hence why I got the jersey on. Fellas, we made it through the dog days of summer. Jeez. And no offense to the Olympics. That was fun and that was nice to watch. But man, football is around the corner. And speaking of trash and and circus performances, I was just looking at Sky D's emblem on his shirt because Dallas training camp, the Cowboys training camp, that's a circus. But yes, I digress a little bit. Fellas, we're almost here. We got our draft coming up next week. Ours is coming up next week, and
I'm still trying to decide if I want to do it Monday or Wednesday, but I messed around and look, and I got another fantasy for why
we do it to ourselves. So we finally make it through the dog days of summer, then we start piling on all the stuff that's going on. Hence my bowling league that I've done for the past couple of years.
Bowling?
That provides me a sense of therapy that Scotty D scoffs at. That's okay though.
Are you going bowling?
Yes, yes. That's out of anything that I'm still able to do with my fat ass. Bowling is still a sport that I can participate in. That's okay. That's okay, Frank. That's okay.
I think it's great that you're in a bowling league. I support it.
Shut the hell up.
And before they kill it,
he says that on the air. God, asking one simple ass question. He can't give me a simple ass answer.
All right, oh God! And before they kill up each other, here's the other guy. He is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, the one, the only, the money man, Scotty D.
It's so hard to be all alone. I know you're not that strong. Yeah, our love's in jeopardy, baby. You guys know who sings that song?
Why does that
sound sounds familiar, but you can't sing. So I mean, it just be throwing us off.
The Greg Kinn band. Greg Kinn passed away this past week. Salute to Greg Kinn. That was his big hit, Jeopardy.
Gotcha.
Good song. That song came out, was like number 2 only behind some Michael Jackson song back in the early 80s, and it came out like Beat It or something obscure.
Michael Jackson song.
Some obscure Michael Jackson song.
Oh, man.
The Cowboys training camp is most definitely a circus, much to the chagrin of Jerry Jones, who does not like that kind of attention.
Oh my bad.
Boy, you made B-Live almost pull a Shannon Sharp. Oops.
Yeah.
He was promoting our sponsor, Sheets.
Yeah. Yeah, Sheets. Yeah, go on there, get some good gas and good food. Sheets. Cut the check. Cut the check. All right, fellas, with that being said, man, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order.
All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order.
Last week, we gave you, our listeners, a preview of the NFC and AFC East. You can go back to the previous week's episode to listen to it in its totality. This week, in the AFC and the NFC, we're going up north, if you will. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The American Football Conference. The AFC North consists of the two Ohio teams, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Scotty D, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start with you because you're living in the surrounding area as far as Pittsburgh and everything. What's the pulse after training camp, these preseason games, and what's the buzz going on in the city?
The buzz is it seemed to be a little bit of a division of who the quarterback should be, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. And if you remember, Russell Wilson kind of quietly had a decent second half of the season for Denver last year. Not enough to make Sean Payton believe in him. So he gone. And the Bears threw their starting quarterback overboard for Caleb Williams. And we'll get to that situation here in just a few minutes. Russell Wilson has the inside track is what they said coming out of the gate. He has the lead to start off, and doesn't appear that Justin Fields is doing much to take that off of him. Having said that, you ever heard of the thing, if you have two quarterbacks, you don't really have one? And a year ago they had one, and that was Kenny Pickett, and he gone. And now he's already getting booed across the state in Philadelphia because he's battling for backup spot now. But I think there's going to be a little history in this division. For the first time, Steeler fans, Mike Tomlin will be under 500. They are going to have a losing record this year. They are going to be struggling out of the gate with this quarterback situation. They don't have a true number 2 wide receiver. Every other day, Brandon Ayuk is coming to Pittsburgh, and every other day he's not. That's a situation that's been up and down. And if once the Steelers get past game 10, their schedule is merciless. So if they don't start off 7-3 or 8-2, they are going to be in trouble because their schedule is so heavy in the backside going into the holiday season. I don't think they have what it takes. I think they're going to be under 500 for the first time. They're going to be in the basement looking up at the Browns, who look up at the Ravens, who look up at the Bengals, who will win the division. I'm going with Joe Burrow coming back, making things right for the Bengals, and moving on moving on as the division champion. Be Live, who you got?
You go with that Joe Burrow, yeah.
Yep.
This is bittersweet. This is wonderful because we did a lot of agreeing last week, and I knew it couldn't last. I knew it wasn't going to last. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the way the things I do agree with Scotty D. The Steelers are going to finish under 500. It's over. It's just it doesn't matter who they start at quarterback. I don't think either one of those quarterbacks are capable of keeping them above 500. They both have flashes in the pan every now and again, but sustainability is what every team looks for. And out of all 32 teams in the NFL, the team that has the least sustainability is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm also talking about the Las Vegas Raiders in those 32 teams. They at least picked their starter. I mean, I know Pittsburgh technically picked Russell Wilson as their starter, but there's so much uncertainty. And there's got to be uncertainty in that locker room. There's uncertainty amongst the fans. There's uncertainty amongst the talking heads or whatever. It looks like a mess, and just quite frankly, I don't think with all of the other teams in the AFC North rebounding, like Scotty D says that Cincy is going to come back after being dead last in the division last year and say they're going to win. I'm not going to go that route with them because Baltimore got better, and Baltimore won the division, and they got better. Derrick Henry is going to revolutionize.
They were like 14-3 last year, right? Weren't they the number one
yes.
seed in the AFC last year overall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They got better. I mean, I see them 14-3 again, 15-2. Strong possibility. Now, granted, what they do in the playoffs is a whole different story. If they decide to stop running the ball in the playoffs again, somebody needs to be fired. But anyway, I put Baltimore winning the division. I have Cincy making the playoffs as a wild card. Cleveland,
such a question mark.
Oh my goodness. Like, do we get the Deshaun Watson of old? Do we get the Deshaun Watson that we know that can sling the ball? It's just, I mean, they still got that Cleveland defense where Deshaun Watson doesn't have to do much. But I'll put Cleveland in the playoffs as well. They'd be borderline. It'll be close. But I'll put Cincy and Cleveland both winning wild card spot. Baltimore, Cincy, Cleveland, and Pitt. You're not gonna make it. It ain't going to happen. Eddie Cool. Hey, what's the pulse around your area in Cleveland?
The same thing that you pretty much said, B Live. What version of Deshaun Watson will we get? Can Deshaun Watson stay upright? When are we also going to see Nick Chubb? Are they going to ease him back into the rotation, or are they going to just, we're gonna put you in there. We're gonna start. If I'm a smart man, we're just gonna ease him in there because Nick Chubb is a very valuable weapon for that Cleveland Browns offense. You still have Amari Cooper, and don't forget he was the subject of trade bait for them to get Brandon Ayuk from San Francisco. But from the looks of it, it's either Pittsburgh or stay in your ass in San Francisco, Brandon Ayuk. It's either one of the two. As you said, B-Live, the defense for the Browns is stellar. They just gave Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, gave him some extra money.
So impressive. Wait a second.
Yeah, I'm 2 for 2 on that. I'm 2 for 2 on that. Yep. They officially call him JOK. So they gave JOK some money. I mean, hopefully the Browns will be good this year. So that's the Browns. On the Bengals side of things, are they going to give Jamar Chase some more money? Because the last check he's holding out right now, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, they got to figure something out. And then
I forgot about it. Yeah, they still have. I thought they paid him.
Nope. Hadn't paid him. And then you got that whole situation with the wide receiver between T. Higgins and between Jamar Chase. Somebody want more money, somebody need more money. The Bengals like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Also, we have to be concerned about the health of Joe Burrow as well too. Hopefully, his offensive line doesn't get him killed, and the defense for the Bengals, hopefully they can maintain as well too. Pittsburgh, I'm a firm believer of you never count Mike Tomlin out, but due to the fact there's so much inconsistency at the quarterback position, this might be it. This might be it.
Count him out.
Yeah, this might be it. But you never know, man. Mike Tomlin can pull that rabbit out of that hat. But Scotty D, like you said, man, the back end of the Steelers schedule, yeah, it is that time. It'll be that time of the year where they're trying to solidify playoff spots. And
have you seen it? Have you seen that how their schedule finishes?
Matter of fact, I'm looking at it right now. Okay, so January the 5th, they host the Bengals.
Go back into December. Just pick up around Thanksgiving for that team because their first 10 games, they have a chance to be over 500 if they get good quarterback play. But look at starting off their buys in week 9, starting on November 10th at Washington, and they get the Ravens at home, at Cleveland, at Cincinnati. Browns come back to Pittsburgh. Then they're at Philadelphia, at Baltimore, and then finish home against Kansas City and the Bengals. That's an incredibly big ask to win one game out of those. I mean, I mean, if you're going by last year, the easiest game on the schedule is Washington, and
Yeah.
Washington could have a pretty good team this year.
Yeah, hey,
Well,
I already told you who I picked for a rookie of the year. So,
and he's been named a starter too.
yeah, that's too easy.
Yeah. Yep. So with that being said, that's the fate of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That last month and some pocket changes the season is a doozy. Now
I'm going to
let's
say they're going to finish several games under 500. I bet you they don't win more than 7. So I think 7 is the highest they can expect.
Ceiling.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think as far as the Baltimore Ravens go, it's going to be business as usual because Lamar Jackson has a running back in the backfield, and a lot of people have been trying to count Derrick Henry out. But the best thing about it is they won't have to use Derrick Henry that much because Lamar Jackson got some wide receivers. Zay Flowers, you know what I'm saying? He can make some things happen. And then they got a rookie. His name escapes me, but they got him as well too. And then they got Mark Andrews back, not to mention Isaiah Likely. So the weapons are there as far as
CCU.
as far as the passing game goes. So, you know, use Derrick Henry the ground game, boom, 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 bust them defensive linemen up for 3 quarters, and then just start dropping it out. Dropping it out. You got Kyle Hamilton, he's a dog on defense. He plays strong safety. He's 6'4", 240 pounds, nice size. Then, of course, the defense. What can I say about the Baltimore defense that hasn't already been said? A traditionally good unit. So I'm looking at. I'm with you, B-Live. We got 3 teams in the AFC East that will occupy playoff spots. The Ravens will win outright. The Bengals will make it, and the Browns will snag a wild card. All right. Let's go ahead and move over to the NFC North. We got the Packers, we got the Lions, we got the Bears, and we got Skull, the Vikings. I'm going to go first. I think the Vikings are done. They done.
Whew.
They're done. They're done. JJ McCarthy got hurt. He'll be out for the rest of the season. See you next year. They're done. I hate to say it, but they're done. All right. They're just done. With them being done, I can see Chicago being sneaky and sliding up to 3rd place in that division because I'm going to tell y'all real quick. So I'm in a few fantasy leagues, right? Why does this one dude, I was trying to get a quarterback from him, and he's trying to get some stuff from me as well, too. Why is he consistent on giving me Keenan Allen? I don't want Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen can't stay healthy, and he's in a new system with a new quarterback, and it's cold up there. Like, nothing against Keenan Allen, but it is what it is. You ain't what you used to be, dog. But hopefully you be some experience in the wide receiver room. Then they got Romo Dunze, and then whatever else they have with wide receivers. And you got Cole Kmet, and then the Bears backfield, and then you got Caleb Williams, the #1 draft pick. On paper, it looks good, but you know what they say about paper? Paper burns and paper crumbles. So we're going to see what that Bears offense look like. So they can sneak up to 3rd place in the division. Now it gets gooder and gooder. The Green Bay Packers, and they have and their wide receiver, they got like 30 wide receivers under 25 years old, balling and being good. But out of that whole group, who's going to step out and be the dog? The #1, who's going to be the #2, and who's going to be the #3? That's what I'm concerned about as well, too. It'll also be interesting to see what Josh Jacobs adds to that offense as well, too, because he went there via free agency. And the defense, I think Green Bay has a bend but don't break defense, and that's just enough what they need in order to get to the playoffs. Now we're going to the big dogs, the big gatos, the big cats, if you will, the Lions. I think they do it again in convincing fashion. But I think out of the team that's going to push them is Green Bay. The team that's going to give them problems will be the Chicago Bears. Mark my words. So I'm looking at Green Bay making the playoffs and the Lions winning the division outright. And the other 2 Bears, see you next year, and Vikings, ain't nobody worried about you. B-Live, what say you?
I've been tossing back and forth about this because I gotta talk from a sports situation as opposed to being just a fan and personal attacks. Caleb Williams is just weird. It's weird. Yeah. But I can't take away from the man's talent. Like, he's starting to show why he has had all the hype and I started seeing it in the preseason, and he's sort of making me a believer. And he has weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They have weapons. I agree with you, Eddie Cool. The Vikings are done. I didn't think the Vikings were good to start with, even with J.J. McCarthy. It's going to take him a couple of years anyway. And this is just a major setback anyway. Like, I mean, Sam Darnold to Justin Jefferson, if you could pick up Justin Jefferson, well, of course, that goes without saying, but that's going to be a lot of high volume. I'm telling you, Justin Jefferson's going to get a lot of touches. Draft them immediately. I had a keeper league that he wasn't even available. I had the fourth pick, and I forgot all about that. So who did I pick my first pick? It was a running back. Jameer Gibbs. That was my first pick. That's how, because all the other players were picked up. The very first pick was Travis Kelce, a tight end, because Christian McCaffrey was kept. And stuff. It just fell that way, and I needed a running back. And so speaking of Jameer Gibbs and the Lions, I have the Lions winning the division, but I'm going to make a bold statement because last week I put the Cowboys in the wild card position. So that means I only have 2 wild card positions left. And I'm going to go ahead and get them out of the way. They're coming from the NFC North. I think the Bears and the Packers both make the wild card. So NFC South, NFC West, only your division winners are going to make it. That's just a precursor to what we got coming up the next couple of weeks. It's only going to be the division winners. There's going to be somebody left out. And I'm still deciding right now. I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm still deciding if it's going to be the 49ers or the Rams. Just to let y'all know. Just want to let everybody know I'm not completely sold on the 49ers this year. Hint, hint. Spoiler alert. But yes, I have the Lions winning the division. I think they stayed the course. I think the Packers continue to improve with Jordan Love getting the bag. And I'm starting to believe in Joe Hendry. Caleb Williams. I had to do it. I couldn't help that one.
Yeah,
that moment was there for me. But man, yeah, I think there's going to be a pretty tight race for who wins the division, but the other 2 teams gain wild card spots. Scotty D, what say you?
Yeah, I'm disappointed that J.J. McCarthy went down because I was anxious to see what he was going to do and how they were going to build that team around him. Because obviously that's an uphill battle to try to win that division with a rookie quarterback. But I wanted to see how they were going to game plan with him and try to bring him along. Probably in a similar fashion to how Bo Nix is being groomed over in Denver, where they're probably going to ask him to just manage games and probably not go out and win games outright. That's kind of what I was wanting to see. And because I think the Vikings have a little bit of talent, but yeah, I can't say that I could see them maybe finishing third ahead of Chicago. I'm not buying Chicago just yet. I just can't. I can't do it. And I can't buy the Green Bay as being a serious threat to the Lions because the Lions, they were very, very close to actually going to the Super Bowl last year. And I think they outsmarted themselves, coaching with your heart instead of your head. And so
ankles.
That's a learning experience for the ankle biting coach, or the knee biting coach, I should say. And so Dan Campbell's also growing with his team and learning. And had they gone to the Super Bowl, they probably would have lost to the Chiefs and then would be saying, are they going to have the Super Bowl hangover? But they didn't get there, so they're going to be even more driven to get back there. Goff's got himself a nice big contract. He's got a lot of weapons. This team is a legit Super Bowl contender, I think. Because I think Campbell, I don't think he'll completely change his coaching style, but he might in certain situations try to play things a little bit different just to get across that finish line. The Lions are good, man. I think they're legit.
I'm
going with Lions.
And then you got Jameer Gibbs in the backfield, and at a moment's notice, God.
Yeah, and he's starting off the season. He's injured right now. I think he's got a hammy pull or something like that. But they have David Montgomery. It's not like they're deficient at the running back position. They're loaded there. They're loaded at receiver. They're loaded.
Mm-hmm. Who would have ever thought that Jared Goff would have gotten the better end of the deal when he got traded away from LA? Even though Stafford got him a Super Bowl, and Jared Goff did get a bigger bag. Matthew Stafford started his career with the big bag, but that $70 million contract that he got at the beginning of his rookie campaign.
I mean, didn't we kind of feel like we kind of, well, at least I did. I'm not speaking for you, but I kind of think the general consensus was Goff going to the Lions was a placeholder until the Lions could draft their next quarterback of the future. To me, it felt like Goff was on his last legs, hanging on by a thread. And the further we get from that trade, the better it seems for the Lions. I think this is a case where it was a win-win for both teams because he's been the perfect fit for the Lions. And the Rams they did cash in with the Super Bowl. That was maybe just a thing where McVay saw Goff as having reached his peak already. And the Lions said, hey, that might be good enough for us for what we're trying to do here. I was really surprised to see Goff continue to flourish. And again, he's got himself a new contract. I mean, and he's winning. He's still winning. He's like not overly impressive, but he keeps winning.
Yeah.
And he got a new contract. Even though he had a current contract, he got re-signed for a new contract.
What got himself a new one.
I'll tell you what,
because he outperforms Dak.
His job
outperforms old Dacky.
What did you say, Scotty?
He's been outperforming old Dak.
Oh, shoot.
Guess there's a reason why one guy was picked number 1 overall and the other one was picked in the 4th round.
I'm gonna go here with you. Because I want to sneak this in here before I BS my way through college football. I'll say whatever. Rumor has it, sources say that the Cowboys offered CeeDee Lamb $33 million a year.
That's what the sources say.
And he hasn't signed pen to paper yet.
Which is right behind Justin Jefferson, who is the consensus best wide receiver in the league. That's what everybody says. And by the way, he concerns me a little bit because he's actually said, I'm a little nervous out there right now. He's actually come out and said that. Anyway.
Who said that? Justin Jefferson?
He did. Yeah. He says he's a little nervous because of the injuries last year. So I keep hearing all the talking heads on the radio and TV saying, and I guess it'd be talking voices on the radio. I'm not seeing heads on the radio. Anyway, I'm hearing a lot of people saying, what's Jerry Jones doing? You got to get it done. He offered him $33 million, and that's his fault. He's making him the 2nd highest wide receiver in the league, and that's not good enough. Come on, man. Man. That's not a Jerry Jones problem.
That was my thoughts exactly. I'm like, I think because really, at the end of the day, I think all 3 players that are in question are reaching. They want to be the highest paid, this and that, and da-da-da, because they know that the market needs to be reset. And I think that is a recipe for disaster for the Cowboys. You would think that somebody out of one of those 3 would take their team-friendly deal, and none of them are doing it. So,
well, Jerry's has a history of playing hardball and then giving in. I mean, he gave in to Dak 4 years ago. He gave in to Zeke 4 years ago. So, you play hardball with him. But here's the thing, and maybe we don't give Jerry enough credit as being a shrewd businessman, but maybe, just maybe, he's thinking along the lines, I don't want to overpay Dak again. And if I don't have that guy, is CeeDee Lamb as valuable? If I have to rebuild at quarterback, if I have to start over, if I have to go with Trey Lance next year or somebody who's in college right now, does it make sense for me to invest upwards of $35 million on a receiver when I don't have a quarterback that I can trust to get him the ball? That, I don't know, just throwing it out there as maybe a guy who's thinking business way. Maybe the CD thing is hinging on the fact that I'm not only going to go so high with Dak Prescott, And if he doesn't go to that, meet me at the threshold, I'm going to be done with him next year. Therefore, I don't have to pay CeeDee Lamb $35 million. I could also maybe let him walk as well, because why pay that if it's not going to give me, if I'm not going to get the return on that investment? I'm just throwing that out.
Tear the whole thing down and start all over again.
Maybe he has a lame duck coach as well. So, and no running back to speak of for the future. So it could, we could be that close to a teardown in Dallas. Seriously.
And Rico Dowdle, we trust.
Yeah.
You can't trust Zeke at this point. Come on. This is ridiculous.
I don't trust
nothing. You didn't trust him 2 years ago.
No, I don't trust nothing coming out of that backfield. I don't trust nothing coming out of that backfield. The only thing I trust right now is Ramondre Stevenson in New England. As I said last week, he's pretty good. He's pretty good because, like you said, it's going to be hard to stop with 11 in the damn box. So the latest on the Brandon Ayuk situation ain't been here much. Like you said, we've heard a couple teams in play. His team, the 49ers, were in play. Pittsburgh was in play. Cleveland was in play. But since then, it's like Cleveland's like, nah, we good. So I guess it's Pittsburgh and San Francisco. And they said, look, man, either you're going there or you're staying here. Which one is it? And Ayuk is good, man. If you ask me, he's the better wide receiver on that team. All-around wide receiver on that team. So hopefully they can get something done sooner rather than later.
Here's some collateral damage in San Fran that nobody's talking about. Trent Williams is holding out waiting on this. Trent Williams is easily the best offensive lineman in the game. And he's over here like, all right, I want the max amount of money, but y'all ain't putting the max up because you still trying to figure out how to pay Brandon Ayuk. Somebody need to pay me my money, because if Trent Williams don't get it now, he ain't gonna get it next year, because guess who is up for a contract extension next year?
Brock Purdy.
Yep. He's gonna get a substantial raise. I'm just saying, from 1 million to 50 million. Just saying, it's gonna be a substantial raise. But yeah.
Eli, if you're a big guy, you should try to play O-line for somebody. You're a big dude.
Absolutely not. You just want me to die.
You're a big guy.
Ain't got no type of cardiovasculars or calisthenics. My ACL just pulled just by you saying that. Like, it's just my ACL just said, "Oh, no." See,
you got the perfect body for a bowling league.
Wow. We're just gonna go ahead and jump into that segment that you talked about, college football playoff predictions, and it's
the B-Live top 5.
I'm not there with that yet. Because to be honest with you, I'm not that good at predicting certain things when it comes to college, unless I'm seeing stuff. There's been too much movement in the transfer portal. There's been too much going on. I don't know. I have hard enough time following my own team when it comes to Clemson. I can tell you one thing: people are underestimating my team's defense, and so
we're going to be good. We're going to be good.
K. Clubbin, come on, bro, you got to do it for me. But this is what I say real quick: conference champions out of the SEC. I'm predicting Texas. I'm saying Texas beats Georgia. I think Alabama is going to be close, but I think it's going to be Texas versus Georgia in the SEC championship. I think Georgia beats Texas in the regular season, but Texas comes back and beats them in the SEC championship, because this is how the SEC does things.
That sounds so weird that you're telling me that Texas is going to be the SEC championship.
But that's the world that we live in.
Weird. That is so weird.
You want to throw in some other weird stuff? Utah is going to win the Big 12. Guess what? I think Utah was dangerous last year in the Pac-12. I think they bring that noise into the Big 12 and take over the Big 12.
Utah is good. I will say that they are good.
I hate to say this, God almighty, but it is what it is. Ohio State wins the Big 10. Michigan is floundering right now. They lost so many players. They're going to be in probation forever. Ohio State wins. They've been recruiting at a high level. And I'm telling you this right now, I'm picking Clemson to win the ACC. Those are your 4 automatic buys. Georgia, Alabama, and Ole Miss make it out of the SEC. Penn State and Oregon make it out of the Big Ten. Oklahoma State makes it out of the Big 12. And Florida State also makes it out of the ACC, with Boise State being your Group of 5 winner and making it into the final spot. And that makes up your 12-team college football playoff. Ta-da! There you go. Still should be 8. Nobody listens to me. 4 from the SEC, 3 from the Big Ten, 2 from the ACC and the Big 12, and then Boise State. There it is. Your college football playoff predictions. Yes, sir.
Real quick, real easy, and there it is in the words of the almighty Be Live. Thank you. Coming soon is Be Live Top 5. You thought last year's intros was something? Ha! Watch this here. Looking at my phone, fellas. Guess what time it is?
What time is it? What's happening, brother?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's time for our favorite segment of Choices of the Voices. With that being said, hey, old button, hit it. Choices of the Voices coming at you right here on the Sports Bros Podcast. This ring light is nice.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the Choices of the Voices.
We just had an impromptu episode of the Wrestle Bros Podcast. But with that being said, once again, thank you to the wonderful and
ever so lovely Miss Button.
So lovely, Miss Button, for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the Choices of the Voices. You know how we do it. We ask y'all a question, you give us the answer, and we talk about it right here on the Sports Bros Podcast. Scotty D, thank you for clarifying. Look, give us an answer, or we ain't gonna talk about you. Be Live, also thank you for clarifying last week. Give us an answer, or we ain't gonna talk about you. All right. So here it goes. We're gonna hop. My bad, Scotty D. What's the question for this week's Choices of the Voices?
Give us a memorable Monday Night Football moment or game or both, because there have been many. But I did want you to have seen it with your own eyes. I mean, citing Heidi, the Heidi Bowl, Heidi game, whatever that was. No, that wasn't Monday Night Football. That was Sunday afternoon. I think they cut the game off.
Yeah.
When the Raiders and Jets they cut off like in early 70s because Heidi was coming on at 7 o'clock or something.
Heidi coming on at 7 o'clock. Damn, some Heidi. I'm trying to see the rest of this game.
But you get the point. If you weren't awake or alive to see Joe Theismann snap his leg, that's not the answer you should pick, even though that's one of the most memorable things. I remember when that happened. I was in bed. I did not see it. And when I got up the next morning, my dad told me about it. And it wasn't until later I saw how gruesome that really, really was. So, yeah. But Monday Night Football, going back to, I think, 1970. So many, many years worth. The last couple seasons, not as memorable, I don't think. Been some, seems like the last decade or so, the Sunday night game has taken precedence. They get the better of the game. Where it used to be Monday Night Football was isolated. But now there's a Thursday night game. And after college football, there's Saturday game. So picking the slim sometimes for Monday Night Football. And you can't flex a Monday Night Football game. So,
damn shame. And the Carolina Panthers still have no primetime games this year.
None?
Not a nay one.
Not nay nothing.
Nope.
4 o'clock Sunday is the latest you get to see. And you mess around if you're on the West Coast, that's 1 o'clock. So that's
yeah.
It is what it is.
Oh, we'll get back to that level one day. All right, let's get into it. All right, Uncle Max, he says, Howard Cosell announces John Lennon's death in December of 1980, Pats versus the Dolphins. Don't remember who won, but I will forever remember that night. I remember seeing the video. I wasn't even born yet, but I do remember seeing that video. John Lennon of the Beatles. Yeah, somebody got it.
I remember. I don't remember that. I remember when I got home from school the next day, my mom telling me about it and being very sad and like kind of laying around the bedroom, like thinking about it. Cause I was a big Beatles fan. Mm-hmm. I watched the Beatles cartoon and had Beatles pictures and a couple albums and stuff like that. And that was a really big deal, but that was past my bedtime in 1980.
All right.
You got to think of it this way. Uncle Max, he's lived an entire life before we were born. Like he's like twice our age, so like he's lived two. Like I'm an adult. I've lived a lot of adult things. He's done twice as much as I have.
No, not twice as much as me.
Oh boy.
I'll go back. Look, yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't just let that one slide.
That's all Hall of Famer. Y'all leave him alone. Mark Olds. He says Tony Dorsett's 99-yard touchdown run against the Vikings, of course. Scotty D, did you see that one?
Went to bed. Bedtime was 9:30.
Oh.
But I remember when it happened, finding out about it the next day. Made a big deal of it because only 10 guys were on the field. There was a mix-up, and the fullback, Ron Springs, ran off the field, and no one else came on. And
he still
Dorsett won 99 and a half.
It's Tony Dorsett. Tony effing Dorsett. All right, we got Josh Baker. He says December 2nd, 2003. Packers at Raiders. Brett Favre lost his dad the day before and threw for 311 yards and 2 tuds in the first half. The Packers lead 31-7 at halftime. He lets off the gas in the second half, but was an absolutely legendary game for the gunslinger, given what he was dealing with. Legend. I will say that about Brett Favre. He was a gunslinger. You would do. Be taking people money though. But anyways,
that one I saw.
Yes, that
one I saw.
Very much so.
That was a memorable one.
Oh yeah. See, that was one you couldn't but help. That one like with the heartstrings.
Bro, to the heartstrings.
Yep. You could clearly see that he was emotionally affected by it. And he just said, you know what, football is what I do. And
everything he was throwing up was getting caught that night.
You're right.
Even bad passes were getting caught.
He was out there just throwing them with both hands, throwing them behind his back. NBA, NFL street, throwing them between his legs. Man, he was just, he was literally a man on fire, man. A man on fire. All right, we got the homie from Boston, Mike Canole. I'm sorry, Mike, I know your last name, man. Trying to butcher it up, right? Mike Canole says, as a Pats fan, that's the end of that. No, as a Pats fan, I have 3 games. The intentional safety game versus the Broncos in 2003. The game versus in Baltimore versus the Ravens in 2007 that kept the perfect season alive. And in 2015, when we beat the Bills to go 10-0. That one was memorable because I was there and I was stuck in the parking lot until 2 a.m. And he was on about 3 hours of sleep and had to go to work the very next day. Hey, man, Mike Cadeau, he's a gamer, man. He really is, man.
Speaking of being stuck in traffic when you go to a stadium, freaking Williams-Brice, you got to be kidding me. The stuck. Ain't moved for an hour. My bad.
You have to expect that when Liverpool's in town, though. It's not like anything else.
No.
When Liverpool comes to town, everybody in the world wants to be there converging on Liverpool.
Whole town shuts down.
Shutting down.
Including the red lights.
There's 77,000 people at Gamecock games every Saturday, right?
Yeah.
It's different.
Or maybe they don't sell them. I do know. Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. It's because during Gamecock games, they leave after the third quarter because they're losing so bad. All right, that's my...
Matty Ice Martin Tracy says, first thing that came to my mind was me putting this foot up, be like, anyways, first thing that came to my mind was watching Giants versus Redskins when Joe Theismann was sacked by LT and his leg was broke so bad his bone was sticking out. I remember them replaying it, and all you could see was the details, something I will never, ever forget. I'm glad I didn't witness that. Oof.
Good boy.
Yeah, I thought Kevin Ware and somebody else was. Yeah, I thought Kevin Ware was something, but
yeah, that was something though. I know, is Kevin Ware that basketball? Oh my god!
Yeah, there was Kevin Ware, and then there was somebody else.
Like Kevin Ware. See, basketball players wear shorts.
Yeah,
we see the bone. Yeah, that was Like I've seen highlights of those Theismann. I saw that they kept showing it. Like we just. Ain't no kids watching Sports Center. Is that what we doing out here?
Yeah.
I was like, come on, bro.
I saw it happen to Anderson Silva against Chris Weidman.
Yes, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, that's the other one.
The leg just
and then
when he kicked him his leg to say it.
incredibly enough, it happened to Anderson Silva against Chris Weidman, and then it happened to Chris Weidman. He threw the kick and then landed on his leg,
and it
bent underneath. And I remember I stood up and started yelling, "No! My dad's in the other room and said, "What?" I said, "No! I can't believe what I just saw."
Yeah.
And then
that's gruesome, man. Those things are gruesome.
Oh man, that's just full breaks. Those are full breaks. They ain't just like we've seen some ACLs and then, but those are full breaks. And
that leg thing also happened to a guy named Tim Crumrine of the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl back in the 80s against the 49ers. It was like in the first quarter where I think he was on the ground and banged like shin to shin with somebody and his leg snapped like that. It didn't appear to be quite as gruesome a size. I can remember them showing it and you could see the shin turn. Didn't see the bone or anything, but it was another compound fracture, another similarly terrible injury. Oh, all right. Pleasant conversation here on the Sports Pros podcast.
All right, Scotty D, most memorable Monday night memory. What you got?
Well, if you saw the pictures, those are some of the ones I put up of some of the real memorable ones. I'll never forget watching that Antonio Freeman catch against the Vikings when you couldn't even really tell that he had caught it in live time, and then he gets up and runs with the ball. And Al Michaels says, he did what? And they showed the replay where he's laying and just kind of tips the ball to himself. That was an incredible one. I also depicted the Saints and Falcons were the first game back after Hurricane Katrina for the Saints, and the place was rocking. And then the other picture I put up was the replacement refs where one guy saying interception, the other guy saying touchdown. Those are some of the better moments. To me, the most memorable moment actually was not on the field, but on the sideline. Going back in 2003, when Susie Colbert asks a blear-eyed Joe Namath what he thinks of the team, and his reply was, "I want to kiss you."
Kiss you. I want to. Then that was remixed.
Now look, I can laugh about that now because I was a drunk guy at one point. And I might do something similarly silly, but that also ended up having a happy ending because Namath was so humiliated that he turned his life completely around and got sober, got off the booze. But come on, man, that was a moment. I mean,
that was classic.
Because I can remember sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, Namath has been partying with the boys all day. He's hammered on TV, and he wanted to kiss Susie Colbert. She was so kissable, though. Hard to blame the guy. Be Live, what do you got?
And Joe Namath Joe Namath was blowed up since 5 o'clock. Come here, Susie.
Susie Colbert was a liquor.
She's cute. She's a little cute. And she handled that so gracefully and kind. She was so nice to him.
Shout out to Susie Colbert, wherever you are. You're a professional.
Absolutely.
And Laura Rutledge, if you ever want to kiss from a drunk guy, you can interview me. All right, cool. Did I say that out loud? All right. I have two, of course. We mentioned. You already know what one of me and Eddie Coos is. So that's just by default. So I had to come up with another one. And really, at the end of the day, my boy Josh.
Tell me the first one. I don't know.
I'm going to tell you that after I tell you one that I came up with.
Okay.
It's easy because it's already been mentioned. But that Brett Favre game that his father passed is just. Reading back on it because I like to do a little I don't remember stuff that well. My brain don't work like it used to. Maybe because of Joe Namath syndrome. But
hard to bust through the malted hops and barley cake though.
But man, it was. I just remember it was a tearjerker. It literally was and he Brett Favre, as much as I don't like him and as much he needs to give the state of Mississippi back their money, I'm sorry, I can't stop it, behave.
Yeah.
That game, 311 yards, and I believe he had 4 total touchdowns, or I think he had 4 touchdowns in the first half. I know
it was 31-7 at halftime, so he may have.
Yeah. It ended up being the game ended up ending 41-7, but it was Like, it was one of the best performances I've ever seen, period, in football. That first half was just like, it was almost the football version of Angels in the Outfield. Like, it was just like it was poetic, it was beautiful, bittersweet, and if there was a way to send off your father, that's the way to do it. And I was like, man, yeah, I got to give him respect. And I still don't like Brett Favre after the 1996 NFC Championship game. That's all right. That's just me being a Panther. Speaking of the one that me and Eddie shared, though, this was 2015. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but it was a Monday night game that we were there, and it was a torrential downpour, a monsoon, if you would. Man, I won 4 tickets to a Monday Night Football game. So we got to go to Monday Night Football free of charge, courtesy of Apple. I was out. Hey, they gave us a contest, and I was gonna win them. I was gonna win them. I'm trying to get them tickets. But yeah, man, my staff went to work. They went to work for me. I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, just being there for a Monday night game, Indianapolis Colts, and torrential downpour, went into overtime, and so people had already left because it was raining, cold. Wasn't miserable, but it was cold. And so what we did is we walked down from the 500, the upper deck. We walked down to the lower deck because we saw this. I was like, man, shoot, I'm trying to watch this game. And sure enough, we went back out in the nastiness and watched us kick a field goal to win the game against the Colts. And that went on to our 15-1 season and all the things. And just to have that memory during the greatest Panther season of all time. Yeah, that is a Monday night that will never be forgotten. Details of it may be forgotten, but the entire experience will not be. Eddie Coop, yes, sir.
I remember I took a picture with some news girl from a television station back home, and she was in Charlotte. But anyways, the photos on my Facebook. November 19th, 2013, the Carolina Panthers eke one out against New England Patriots at home. All right, so the game was tightly contested in the all throughout the game, and then with 59 seconds left, Super Cam Newton, he found Ted Ginn Jr. for a 25-yard touchdown pass to make the game 23-20 with the lead. Kicked extra point, it was 24-20. Only problem is, if there's a minute left, that's still a lot of time for Tom, Patrick, Edward, Carmichael, Jabot, Fitzgerald, Brady to make some things happen. And so he did. And then he got into the red zone. And then what happened? Interception. Game over. Or was it? There was a controversial call where pass interference didn't get called. Tom Brady was mad. He was cussing. And the Panthers was like, bye, get up out of here. The ball was intercepted by Robert Lester. And if you look at the video, there was some semblance of pass interference. But you know what? A broken clock is right twice a day, and a liar is wrong every day and all the time. All right. So, with that being said, that is a Monday night memory. The Patriots came down to Charlotte and they got beat. It was a tightly contested game, and so, well,
I think Tom Brady still has a losing record against Cam Newton.
I think he does.
Cam VP
2-1.
Yes. It's some of that nature. It's either 2-1 or 2-2. Either way, he does not have a winning record against them. Cam Newton. Oh man, what a time to be alive as a Panther fan. I don't care what nobody says.
I got a story about Cam Newton in our next segment. With that being said, Scotty D, what's on tap for next week?
Yeah, what is on tap for next week? What did I have in the pot here cooking up here? What did I do?
Oh Lord, he done forgot what his next question is.
No, I had it. I had it right here. Here it is, right here in front of me on the paper that's actually sitting on top. Next week, we're gonna ask you to go back and remember NFL most memorable rookie seasons. It's a big year for rookies coming up here. J.J. McCarthy, inside track for rookie of the year. Oh, he's out already.
Yeah, he's done.
He knew that.
But let's talk about some of the most memorable rookie seasons we've ever seen through the years in the NFL. And that'll give us something to talk about next week.
It's been another action-packed edition of the Choices of the Voices. Coming up next, Be Live, get the grabbing the pepper grind up because it is time for a round of pepper. Coming at you right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
You heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what we call the hell up out of here. But first, a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style. Kind of, sort of, not really. Here to enlighten, engage, educate, and entertain. The 4 E's in no particular order. With that being said, I'll go first. On this date in history, back in 1920, the American Professional Football Association forms, and they name Jim Thorpe as the president. And then the APFA later on becomes the NFL, and the rest, as they say, is history. If you ever get a chance, man, go to YouTube and subscribe to the NFL Throwback channel. You will learn a whole lot. Over to you, Scotty D.
All right, it happened Saturday night. I was worried about it, and it happened. And that's right. Israel Adesanya went down in defeat. He is now 1-3 in his last 4 fights. And, 2 fights ago against Sean Strickland, it looked like Adesanya just didn't have his heart in it and had a bad game plan executed against Strickland and just got beat up. Well, this one here, he's going for the championship against Dricus du Plessis, otherwise known as DDP, Bang. And he actually, I think, may have been winning that fight. He got choked out in the 4th round, but it was such a good fight. Both guys just in there banging on one another, and this guy just had a strong chin as Adesanya was going to the body and then throwing uppercuts, and he had him in trouble several times, but just in that 4th round, just got caught and couldn't get out of a rear naked choke. So where does Adesanya go from here? Not sure, but what he said after the fight was, "I'm not effing going anywhere." He quoted Leonardo DiCaprio from The Wolf of Wall Street. So we have not seen the last of him, but he also said, "You don't know when you're going to see me." Anyway, at this point, I think maybe his title picture days could possibly be behind him, but regardless, it's been a heck of a run. Next time he fights, I'm watching The Last Style Bender. B-Live, over to you.
Oh man, it hurt my heart to see it. But I mean, again, hard fought. It's just a rear naked choke or something else. You can't breathe, you can't fight. Well, I don't want to do this first pepper point. I thought about it because I feel like I'm giving her more clout than she shouldn't. This is me giving anti-clout. New York Mets, what are you doing?
Oh,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Kids go to these baseball games.
Yeah.
They ask questions.
Yeah.
Who is this girl that's throwing the first pitch for the New York Mets?
She is adorable.
Why is she famous?
Yeah.
And that's why
she went to throw a spitball. She's throwing a spitball.
Damn it, Scotty D. Damn it, man. God. that was perfect. Mets brought out the hot Tua girl to throw the first pitch. They were up 5-0, and then they say the team is cursed. Parents are upset because they're like, why are we glorifying this girl in this catchphrase? Spit on that thing. Spitball, that's perfect. They lose to the A's, the Athletics, 7-6, and they deservedly lose. So anything that's bad for the Mets is good for me. Go Braves, go. Eddie Cool, the ball.
You mean tell me y'all couldn't find no Olympians? Nobody. I'm just saying.
Somebody in their PR department thought that was a good idea. That was going to bring
a couple did because it got passed. Nobody said, "Wait a minute, let's think this over." Not one person said, "Let's think about this first."
Baseball, America's pastime. Take me out to the ball game.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. The people that were in the decision-making process, all dudes.
Dude says, Pretty sure of it.
You know
I'll
what?
do.
You might be on something there, youngster. You might be on something there.
Was
All right.
buy me peanuts, Cracker Jacks, and jobs. That is the slogan for the New York Mets. Did I go? I went too far, didn't I?
Don't worry, I just hit the dump button. Fans use your imagination. All right, with that being said, let me go ahead and go on to the second pepper point. Put the train back on the track and G.O. Scotty D, you remember Randy Gregory, don't you?
I do.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, y'all gonna love this one. All right, so Randy Gregory, Tampa Bay said, hey man, well, holler at you later. He got released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this past Saturday. Gregory never reported training camp. Reason being, and he missed both of their preseason games is because he filed a lawsuit against the NFL and the Denver Broncos over alleged discrimination, per an article I read, about his use of a medication that contained THC, aka tetrahydrochloride, or the stuff that make you high when you smoke your reefers. All right. Todd Bowles had an interesting response to this when he was asked about it. He said, so Gregory's prolonged absence led to his release by the Buccaneers on Saturday. When asked about the whole situation, Bowles said, and I quote, I'll never find out why Gregory didn't report, but I wish him the best. And we'll move on from there, Bowles said, per Jenna Lane of ESPN. And then Todd Bowles said, you can't miss what you never had.
He never showed up. I was like, all right.
I guess. Oh, you Scotty D. Hey, you can't get what you don't have, so you know.
Sounds like Hassan Reddick with the Jets.
Yeah, I was gonna say, except not holding out for a new contract, holding out for weed.
Reefless.
In Denver.
Yeah, he's got a lawsuit against the league for this whole thing. Man, Randy Gregory has been just an absolute complex figure ever since he was drafted into the NFL. Even before that, I mean, he's always had some kind of issues going on, and weed was his way of coping with it. And they try to take I don't know, big mess with Randy Gregory. Could have been an extremely outstanding NFL player had
and he's good. He's good.
Yeah. Weird.
How did Stephen A. say it? Lay off the weed.
Over to you, Scotty D.
I'm starting to get a little used to the new kickoff rules. Every year the NFL throws some new rules out there that takes some getting used to. You know, trying to make things a little bit better from year to year. Here's a rule that's coming into this season that not going to make things better. The NFL is going to require head coaches to be available for live interviews during the games this year. In each half. Once each half. If you go on any website where fans are commenting, you know how many people really in the stands or on TV want to see this? Nobody. Everybody wants the coaches to be concentrating on their game. Don't go and talk to TV. Get a team rep. Get somebody that's on the sideline that can go and talk. But we don't want to hear head coaches during the game. We want them to coach. This is a dumb rule. Dumb. Sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. I'm right about this one. This is dumb. Be live.
In the words of the almighty Be Live Circle 2004, coaches, I need y'all to pay attention. Go ahead.
Dumb. I want to coach, but I have to go talk to Melissa Stark or whoever.
Here's the thing, and Scotty D.
Lisa Guerrero.
They do it in college football. They do it all the time. Where the coach, as they're heading into the locker room, the reporter will stop the coach and be like, and so what do you think about the blah, 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 blah? And the coach says,
no, but they
blah,
do
blah,
that
blah.
already, I think, coming off. But this is going to be like in game. Like they have to go, I think, like between quarters or during it's not just coming off the field anymore. It's more than that now.
Well, I'll look into it as well, but I agree with you. It's dumb. Nobody cares. Go in there and draw some more plays up.
What are they going to say? What are they going to say?
Right.
We need to be better on third down and getting off the field. We have to be better at moving the sticks. We don't want to get behind the chains. We don't want to commit penalties. What are they going to say? They're going to get the same canned answer every week. I'll go on there and do it. Let me do it.
I'll do it for the head coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What he wants to do right now is for you to shut the hell up. We got things to do, and we'll make that change when we come back out. Everything just saw,
McCarthy's got a hoagie waiting on him.
He's got a what?
A hoagie waiting on him. He doesn't want to be talking.
Be loud. Go
Oh
ahead. Go
man.
ahead. We got on the tracks. Oh my God. Go ahead, be loud.
Second pepper point
Sorry.
is Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, the new coach for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Uh-huh.
He finds his way to always be doing the most. And in the most controversial way, because he left Michigan in a controversial way, and it's already been reported that if he returns back to college football, he's got a year ban waiting on him if he ever returns to college football, which he'll never freaking do.
No.
Well, he wants to make an addition to his coaching staff at the Los Angeles Chargers. And just think of the most controversial person you could possibly think of in the National Football League that he wants to add to his coaching staff.
Randy Gregory.
Antonio Brown.
Let's go a little bit further. Antonio Brown is controversial, but not as controversial as this guy.
Joe Namath.
No, let's go deeper.
Is he a quarterback?
He is a quarterback.
Oh, did he play for the 49ers?
He did play for the 49ers.
And was Harbaugh his head coach?
Jim Harbaugh wants to hire Colin Kaepernick to join his coaching staff for this upcoming season. The only problem with that, Colin Kaepernick still wants to play football. And so it's still in limbo. Like, what are we doing here? I was like, this is really a story? Of course it's a story because Kaepernick's name is attached to it. But yeah, something you just gotta sometimes you gotta let it go. Eddie Cool. The ball.
I predict that it never happens.
Seriously,
I don't think it'll ever happen. I think he'll say, "Hey, I'm going to give you a spot," and he'll be like, I don't want to do it. That's what I think happens.
Real quick, before I get into this paper, here's what I don't understand: how are you going to sue an entity, get some money from them, supposed to be parting ways, and then you want to come back and play? Come on, so I thought the quarterback was the smartest man in the room. But anyways. Speaking of quarterbacks, third and final pepper point. Be Live, you may have seen this, Scotty D. This might be news to you, but Cam Newton is feeling some kind of way. He feels hurt because he didn't get a call from Ron Rivera when he took over for the Washington football team. And he expressed his statements on the 4th and 1 podcast, and it goes as follows. I don't know what hurt me, though. I said at the bare minimum, Washington, come F with your boy. It was just Ron Rivera. It was Marty Herney. It was Ryan Vermillion. Everybody. It was Panthers reincarnated in Washington. To not get no call, F, man. I don't know whether I was hurt or whatever. It F with me, though. I ain't going to lie. Like, you got this coach of the year, not just you alone, but with your help. We started 2013 season 1-3 and finished 12-4. Coach of the year? Of course. You've been through the struggle with them. And then not to get a call, it was one of them situations like, yeah, I see what's happening here. I get it. But you know what, Cam, to be honest with you, you probably dodged a bullet by not going to Washington. Just saying. Over you, Scotty D. I'm just saying.
I'm going to make this just a real quick one, real quick and to the point. This goes out to all first base umpires. Not every check swing has to be ruled a strike. Every time somebody flinches at a ball, and you don't have to, they point down in front. You don't have to ring them up. I know it's more fun than say no, he didn't swing. Not everyone's a strike, even though all of you call it that way. Be Live. I'm done.
The theatrics.
Third and final pepper point. You know how I like to do things. Got to find the weirdest story I could possibly find, and something about the Los Angeles Dodgers when they visit the Milwaukee Brewers. There's a particular player that who do you want to call? Ghostbusters. He does not believe. He believes that the hotel that they choose to stay at in Milwaukee, the Pfister Hotel, is reportedly and rumoredly haunted. And so Mookie Betts does not stay with the team. It's the second straight year he said, nope, not staying with you guys. I'm going to find my own place to stay. Screw you guys. I'm staying away from the ghost. And he said this is the second straight year Mookie Betts does not do haunted hotels.
Wow.
Some people just have their kinks and their quirks. Mookie Betts believes that the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee is haunted.
Interesting.
Yes.
I know in Bobby Brown's book, he said he made love to a ghost.
And with that
So
being
he's not
said,
afraid. He ain't afraid of no ghosts.
And
with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another action-packed episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Football season is right around the corner. With that being said, and in closing, do something nice for yourself, and if you can, do something nice for someone else. They greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden. Ooh, and we just got a teaser of fall up here in Northeast Ohio. I can't stand summer because it'd be hot to be sweating to death. Another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Be live. Get us up out of here.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Yes, sir.
Just don't bring them over here. See y'all next week for another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. We out. 2 up, 2 down, 4 over. Like kind of like one pinky, one thumb. Bye.
Press the, yeah.
Hey, it's Eddie Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. Thank you for listening, and as always, continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just click the link in the description box and keep up with the Sports Bros Podcast. And once again, thanks for listening.